These two are back in court again in a he said, she said battle with $50 million at stake.
She goes, yeah, he threw a phone at me and hit me. And I'm going, where? I don't see a cut, a bruise, swelling, redness.
That's Amber diligently taking notes today and smirking as Johnny listened intently to their former friend and neighbor, brought to tears defending him.
It's not right what she did and what happened for so many people to get affected. It's insane.
Johnny beat me up really good this time.
Yesterday, both exes appeared emotional as the jury heard Amber's graphic claims.
He ends up assaulting her and sexually assaults her.
The first witness, Johnny's sister, Christy. She booked the couple's travel and told the court she would reserve an extra hotel room for Johnny to escape when he and Amber fought. Depp looked solemn as she also testified about their abusive mother, explaining that Amber often triggered Johnny.
She called him an old fat man.
Amber's attorney repeatedly mentioned Depp's alleged substance abuse issues, showing text messages.
Stop drinking, stop coke, or stop pills. You wrote those words to Mr. Depp, right?
I wrote those words.
And he brought up Johnny's friendship and matching tattoos with another star who denies his ex's abuse claims.
You'll hear evidence of drug binges with his good friend Marilyn Manson.
He was hitting me hard and repeatedly.
Johnny says Amber's 2018 op-ed calling herself a domestic violence victim damaged his career. The Pirates of the Caribbean star claims he was dropped from the 5th sequel after the op-ed was published. He was also let go from the Fantastic Beasts franchise.
Do not fight out of hatred.
Johnny had actually only done a day's filming, I think on his own.
Depp, whose films grossed more than $10 billion across 2 decades, testified in 2020 that he was $100 million in debt. Both exes are set to take the stand.
Ms. Heard's portrayal is a lie, and she has been preparing to give the performance of her life in this trial.
The tip of the finger found?
It was found.
Alarming details come to light on day 4 of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard's defamation trial. Depp's physician, Dr. David Kipper, says a chef found his severed fingertip on the kitchen floor in 2015.
I cleaned his wound to the best that I could. I went in to instruct one of the people with him to look for the tip of the finger, hoping that we would be able to put it back.
Was the tip of the finger found?
It was found in the kitchen area.
The Pirate star alleged Amber caused the injury after throwing vodka bottles at him, which she denies. And while the doctor testified that he didn't see any physical injuries on Heard, he does reveal that he saw broken glass in the kitchen.
Did you observe any broken glass in the house?
Yes. There was blood around the home, as I had previously mentioned, but I didn't specifically see blood on glass.
There's also this moment where Johnny watched intently as a physician listed off his medical diagnosis.
ADHD, bipolar 1, depression, chronic substance abuse disorder.
The defamation trial centers around Amber's 2018 op-ed, claiming she was a victim of domestic abuse. Johnny was not named in the article, but is seeking $50 million in damages due to its effect on his career, including being fired from the Fantastic Beasts film series. The exes have yet to take the stand, but last Thursday, Amber's former assistant, Kate James, testified on Johnny's behalf.
Mushrooms, ecstasy, and cocaine.
Amber sat stone-faced, coldly staring as Kate listed off illegal drugs she alleges the actress took in another deposition tape played in court. Amber's attorneys tried to paint Kate as a scorned ex-employee, blindsided when the actress abruptly fired her after 3 years.
But it was abusive in your opinion?
Blind rage, multiple times screaming at me over the phone, barrages of abusive text messages between 2 and 4 a.m. The barrage would start.
In the courtroom, Johnny appeared transfixed as Kate defended him.
Did you ever see Mr. Depp break something intentionally?
Never break anything, never throw anything, always completely passive.
Depp lost his original UK defamation case involving Amber, and the exes have already reportedly each spent some $20 million in legal fees. Johnny is expected to testify on Tuesday.
Goal is the truth. My goal is the truth. It's very strange when one day you're Cinderella, so to speak, and then in 0.6 seconds you're Quasimodo.
On the record, under oath, Johnny faced the jury in his $50 million lawsuit against his ex.
It was my responsibility, I felt, to not only attempt to clear my name, I wanted to clear my children of this horrid thing that they were having to read about their father.
Johnny started his testimony today. He claims Amber defamed him when she wrote a 2018 op-ed claiming that she was a survivor of domestic abuse.
It just didn't need to go in that direction. Nothing of the kind had ever happened.
Amber did not mention Johnny by name in the article, and he has denied ever having abused her.
There were arguments, but never did I myself reach the point of striking Ms. Heard in any way.
How do you feel about the intimate details of your life being aired in this process?
As a father, I can't say that I'm embarrassed because I know that I'm doing the right thing.
Johnny went on to detail the abuse that he suffered at the hands of his mother when he was a kid.
An ashtray being flung at you, you know, it hits you in the head, or you'd get beat with a high-heel shoe.
And he dramatically recreated the moment that she tried to take her own life with an overdose of pills.
I saw my mother, you know, in that mode.
But there were fireworks even before Johnny took the stand.
This can't continue. You guys are either going to kill each other or you're going to be in jail.
Depp's longtime security guard Sean Bett testified he issued that warning to Amber and shared photographs he said he took of injuries to Johnny's face after 2 incidents where he claimed the couple fought. He insisted he never witnessed Depp hit Heard.
Did you ever see any injuries on Miss Heard?
I didn't.
Did Miss Heard ever tell you she was being abused by Mr. Depp?
She didn't.
Did she ever ask you for help?
No.
On cross-examination, Bett admitted this.
You have no personal knowledge of whether or not Mr. Depp was violent to Miss Heard at times when you weren't around them, correct?
I have no knowledge.
But now all eyes are on Johnny and his long-awaited testimony.
I pride myself on honesty. I pride myself on truth. Truth is the only thing I'm interested in.
I did not punch you. I did not deck you.
That is Amber yelling at Johnny, the verbal altercation after a physical one between the two.
I didn't punch you, by the way. I'm sorry that I didn't hit you across the face in a proper slap, but I was hitting you. It was not punching you. You're fine. I did not hurt you. I did not punch you. I was hitting you.
How are you?
What am I supposed to do? Do this? I'm not sitting here about it, am I? You are. That's the difference between me and you. You're a baby.
The audio of the undated brawl played in court after he revealed new claims from another incident where his finger was famously severed.
I was looking directly at my bones sticking out.
For the first time, Johnny on the record, alleging his wife threw not 1, but 2 bottles of vodka at him after an argument in 2015.
She threw the large bottle, and it made contact and shattered everywhere. And then I looked down and realized that the tip of my finger had been severed.
And while Amber has previously denied Johnny's allegations, he insisted it happened in Australia 1 month after their wedding.
I knew in my heart, this is not life.
And Depp claimed Amber left a rather disgusting present for him after they argued around the time of her 30th birthday.
My side of the bed was human fecal matter, and she tried to blame it on the dogs. Sorry, I could not agree with her. I'd lived with those dogs. I picked up their fun. It was not the dogs.
Johnny took the stand for a second day and immediately took on his ex-wife.
She's a need for conflict. She's a need for violence. It erupts out of nowhere, and Miss Heard could very easily drink 2 bottles of wine per night. Well, not a problem.
He testified Amber targeted him physically,
throwing a TV remote at my head,
and verbally.
Tell me what a bad father I was, and that I had no idea how to parent. It's to slice you up, it's to bring you down, it's to demean you.
He testified that Amber's actions made him more likely to use drugs, like he had begun to do when he was 11, amid abuse from his mom.
You start to slowly realize that you are in a relationship with your mother, in a sense.
And he made these stunning claims.
Ms. Heard had spoken of suicide on a couple of occasions. Many times when I would try to leave, she would stop me at the elevator with the security guards crying, screaming, you know, I can't live without you. I'm gonna die.
So why did you stay with Miss Heard given this type of behavior?
I suppose because my father stayed.
Elton John was one of your friends who was trying to help you get sober, correct?
Yes, sir.
And you sent him a message in 2012 where you thanked him for his help, and you said, quote, I would have been swallowed up by the monster were it not for you. That is a simple fact. Isn't that true?
Yes. Again, the monster referring to alcohol and substances.
Correct. And you didn't send that message to Miss Heard. You sent that to Elton John. I would have been swallowed up by the monster were it not for you. Correct?
Elton
can you pull up?
Was a dear friend who has been sober for 40 years, 30 years. So he was. We'd had discussions, and he wanted me to get clean, sober. So Elton actually sent a fellow called Charlie Dunnett, who worked with Elton for years and years. And
Mr. Depp, I appreciate that. My only question was just to confirm that you had sent that message to Elton John, nothing else. Thank you.
So I'll just stop talking.
Thank you. I appreciate it. I want to be respectful of the court's time and the jury's time.
Sorry?
I just said I want to be respectful of the court's time and the jury's time, and I trust that you do too. So,
well, I don't feel that I'm wasting anyone's time, sir.
Could you pull?
Elon Musk be called as a witness at the Johnny Depp defamation trial. Attorneys may want to hear from the world's wealthiest man because he dated Amber Heard. Notice the lipstick stain on Musk's cheek. And here they are getting cozy inside Johnny Depp's private penthouse elevator in L.A. Amber is wearing a swimsuit and towel. Musk says this photo was taken after she filed for divorce from Depp.
I'm going to talk a little bit about the video clips that Mr. Depp's attorney showed you. I'm going to ask you, first of all, Mr. Presidio showed you a number of video clips from May 24th. Do you recall that?
May 24th?
Yes.
Yep, no, it's Tuesday.
But in fact, you don't recall seeing Amber Heard on May 24th, correct?
I don't remember. I don't even remember what I got for breakfast.
Okay. Well, let's pull up exhibit number 1. Let's stay on page 17. That's a good place. I want to try to move along. So the incident was May 21st, 2016. You saw her the night of May 25th, correct?
Correct.
You said you saw Amber Heard hundreds of times while she was there. Amber Heard treat you well, and was she friendly to you in each of these hundreds of times?
Yes. I'm not going to say no because she was really always nice.
All right, this is my last.
Be nice.
All right, this is my last question. You testified in response to Mr. Presidio's questions that you testified truthfully in all of these occasions. Did you testify truthfully to everything that you testified in response to my questions today?
That's correct.
All right.
I did.
All right. It's a good time to break for lunch. We'll just break a little early, so just don't talk to anybody, don't do any outside research, and we'll see you at 2 o'clock, okay? Thank you. That was a first, I'm sorry.
I will say, Your Honor, that is the most bizarre deposition.
Okay, all right. I was just going to say, I've just never seen that before. I've seen a lot of things, but I've just never seen that.
Driving that.
Yeah, that did it. All right, so we will come back at 2. Is there anything preliminary before we get to the next deposition? You'll work through them, and then if I come back at 2, we should be able to take care of it pretty quickly?
Yes.
Okay, all right, great. We'll come back at 2 then. Thank you.
And there was a divorce settlement, you got $7 million. People were saying this is all about the money, but then you did something that twisted that whole argument. What did you do with that money?
$7 million in total was donated to, I split it between the ACLU and Children's Hospital of Los Angeles.
The American Civil Liberties Union claims Amber Heard has not yet paid her pledged $3.5 million donation from her divorce settlement from Johnny Depp. Chief Operating Officer of the ACLU, Terrence Daughtry, testified this in a pre-recorded deposition from December 2021 that was played to the court on Thursday. In the deposition, Daughtry claimed the ACLU had only received $1.3 million in her name to date. He also says that the nonprofit believed $500,000 came from Elon Musk, who Heard dated after her split from Depp. According to Daughtry, the payment stopped in 2018.
We reached out to Ms. Heard starting in 2019 for the next installment of her giving, and we learned that she was having financial difficulties.
Access Hollywood has reached out to Heard's legal team for comment. When Heard and Depp reached a settlement for their divorce in 2016, she said in a statement to Access Hollywood she would donate the full $7 million settlement to charity, with $3.5 million going to the ACLU and the other half going to the Children's Hospital Los Angeles. While testifying, Daughtry also said that the ACLU lawyers helped draft and vet Heard's 2018 Washington Post op-ed about surviving domestic abuse. That article is at the center of Heard and Depp's court case. The Pirates of the Caribbean alum is suing the Aquaman star for defamation over this article. The piece did not mention Depp by name, but he believes it was clear that she was referring to him since she requested a temporary domestic violence restraining order shortly after the two began their divorce proceedings in 2016. During Depp's first day testifying, he said Heard's domestic abuse allegations were, quote, heinous and disturbing, and he claimed he never hit his ex, quote, in any way. But during opening statements, Heard's attorney said evidence will show suffered domestic abuse by Depp that, quote, took many forms, unquote, during their 2015 to 2017 marriage. Depp and Heard are in the third week of their trial, and it's expected to last several more weeks. Heard has not taken the stand in the case yet.
Should deny defendant Amber Heard's motion to strike because Mr. Depp has come forward in his case in chief with multiple credible witnesses, documents, and authentic tape recordings of Ms. Heard herself, not only satisfying all of the requisite elements of his claim for defamation, including actual malice, but also going the extra mile of showing that Ms. Heard physically abused him. She's the abuser in this courtroom.
Why are you here? I am here because my ex-husband is suing me for an op-ed I wrote. And how do you feel about that? I struggle to have the words. I struggle to find the words to describe how painful this is. This is horrible for me to sit here for weeks and relive everything. Hear people that I knew, some well, some not. My ex-husband, with whom I shared a life, speak about our lives in the way that they have. This is the most painful and difficult thing I've ever gone through, for sure.
Now, there was a trial in the UK in July of 2020 where Mr. Depp had sued the Sun newspaper and Dan Wooten. Do you recall that?
Yes.
And what was your level of participation in that lawsuit, in that trial?
Well, I was not party to that lawsuit. I was a witness, I suppose the primary witness, since it dealt with the truth of the relationship that I shared with Johnny.
And what, if any, role did you have to play with respect to, for example, witness statements and testifying?
Objection, compound.
I said, for example.
Overruled.
I had to write, I think I gave 7 witness statements under oath testimony. I sat on the stand for 4 days under mostly cross-examination. And up until this point, it was the hardest thing I had ever had.
Let's tell the jury about Hicksville, May 2013. Can you tell the jury what transpired at Hicksville?
It's a fancy trailer park. He just started smashing things. He picked up something on the table and threw it right into the glass cabinet. He hit with his hand a wall sconce. He cleared the tabletop on the little fold-down kitchen dining room area in this trailer. I mean, it's a trailer, so there's only so much you can do. And he's screaming at me. Just screaming at me. And I eventually go back into the bedroom area. He comes into the bedroom area. We had what I can only describe as it sounded like nonsense from him. It wasn't making sense. I realized that he's just probably really high because it wasn't making sense anymore. It wasn't like a direct accusation. He wasn't hearing me when I was saying I wasn't involved, wasn't cheating on him. I wasn't secretly trying to engage this woman in some sort of sexual affair. And then it became clear to me he was like looking for something. He cleared things off the bed. I went into the bathroom. And as I come out, he asked me where it is and how long I've been hiding it. And I was like, what are you talking about? And he says, you know what I'm talking about. You know what I'm talking about. Be honest with me. Where are you hiding it? And he kind of makes to look into the bathroom. And I gestured to the bathroom, which was to my right. I kind of gestured to him and I said, what am I hiding and where am I going to hide it? And we're standing in this little hallway area outside of the bathroom and he starts, what it feels like patting me down or saying he's patting me down. I can't recall, but he ripped my dress, the strap top part of my dress. I had just dyed this thing myself, pink, and it's just one of those things I was like, I just finished that dress. And he's grabbing my breasts, he's touching my thighs, he rips my underwear off, and then he proceeds to do a cavity search. He said he was looking for his drugs, his cocaine, his coke. I was wondering how somebody who didn't do cocaine and was against it, that was in and of itself causing problems in our relationship. How could I hide? Why would I hide his drugs from, like he was insinuating that I was doing it or something? It made no sense. And he was telling me we're gonna conduct a cavity search, shall we? Like, just shoved his fingers inside me. I didn't know what to say. I didn't know how to react. I just sat there thinking, how much time do I have till I figure out what I need to do? Because, God, did he just hit me?
Amber Heard took to the stand to testify on Wednesday in her ongoing trial against Johnny Depp. While on the stand, the Aquaman actress got emotional, recounting the first time her ex-husband allegedly physically hit her, saying it all started after she asked him about a tattoo he has that was, quote, hard to read. And after he told her what it meant, she laughed. Then he allegedly slapped her.
I just laughed because I thought he was joking. And slapped me across the face. I just stared at him, kind of laughing still, thinking that he was going to start laughing too to tell me it was a joke. But he didn't. He said, "You think it's so funny? You think it's funny, bitch? You think you're a funny bitch?" And he slapped me again. Like, it was clear it wasn't a joke anymore.
The 36-year-old got emotional, tearing up, saying she didn't know how to react to the situation at the time.
I didn't want to leave him. I didn't want this to be the reality. I didn't want to have the man I was in love with. I know you don't come back from that. You know, I'm not dumb. I know you can't hit a woman. You can't hit a man. You can't hit anyone. You can't just hit somebody because I knew it was wrong, and I knew that I had to leave him. And that's what broke my heart, because I didn't want to leave him.
Depp and Heard are in the 4th week of their trial, and it's expected to last several more weeks.
I don't want to do this.
Actress Amber Heard broke down in tears on the witness stand Thursday as she told a jury that ex-husband Johnny Depp sexually assaulted her with a liquor bottle and threatened to kill her about a month after their wedding.
But I couldn't get up.
Testifying in a widely watched defamation trial, Heard said she visited Depp in Australia in early 2015 when he was filming the 5th Pirates of the Caribbean movie, and shared with the jury disturbing details of their first evening together in what she said was an argument that turned violent.
He shoves me up against the fridge. He has me by the throat.
Depp was belligerent, according to Heard, and threw bottles that broke all around her.
But at some point, he had a broken bottle up against my face, neck area by my jawline, and he told me he'd carve up my face.
Then, according to Heard, Depp took one of the bottles and pushed it inside her.
I felt this pressure. On my pubic bone. And I remember just not wanting to move because I didn't know if it was broken. I didn't know if the bottle that he had inside me was broken.
Do you recall what Mr. Depp was saying to you when he had the bottle and was pushing it against your pubic bone?
He said that he would fucking kill me. I'll fucking kill you.
In earlier testimony, Depp offered a different account of the incident in Australia.
She threw the large bottle, and it made contact.
Saying Heard was the person who hurled objects during their argument, hitting him with a vodka bottle that severed the top of his right middle finger. Depp also testified that he never hit Heard and that she was the abuser.
She kicked the bathroom door into my head.
On Thursday, Heard described to the jury a tumultuous relationship of both love and violence.
It was awful and toxic, but it was so important to me, and I loved him so much.
Depp is suing his ex-wife for $50 million, saying she defamed him when she claimed she was the victim of domestic abuse. Heard has countersued for $100 million, arguing Depp smeared her by calling her a liar.
Did there come a time when you met directly with Ms. Heard?
Yes, I did. So in conducting my evaluation, I met with Ms. Heard on 2 separate dates, December 10th and December 17th, 2021.
Approximately how much time have you spent with Ms. Heard?
So the evaluation, we spent 12 hours directly with one another. However, there were more hours involved in the evaluation with some breaks. So we spent 7 hours together on the first day.
As a result of the work that you performed, did you form any opinions with respect to Ms. Heard?
I did.
What were those opinions?
The results of Ms. Heard's evaluation supported 2 diagnoses: borderline personality disorder and histrionic personality disorder.
Are you aware that Mr. Depp is on an audio recording years earlier taunting Amber Heard that she has a borderline personality disorder?
I was made aware of that in this case, yes.
So you did
actually,
that one of the audio
not
tapes
necessarily taunting, but I do recall hearing that Mr. Depp had used that phrase.
Would you agree that a disproportionate number of women are tagged with a diagnosis of borderline personality disorder?
No, that's not quite right.
75%?
The way you phrased it is not quite right.
Tell me what's right.
Okay, so there are more women who have been diagnosed with bipolar disorder than men. It's more prevalent in women.
And trauma can cause borderline personality disorders, can't it?
No.
Never?
Right now, we know that there are people who have borderline personality disorder who have sustained childhood trauma. There are also people who have borderline personality disorder who have had no childhood trauma. So like most personality disorders, and really like most mental health issues in general, there seems to be both a biological component. In this case, with borderline personality disorder, the research tends to support a genetic component and possibly a neurological component. And then there is also possibly an environmental component triggering those genetic markers.
Would you agree that if you did not find something that would be in favor of Mr. Depp and negative to Ms. Heard, that you wouldn't be an expert in this case? That essentially, I'm going to bring you into court if you're going to say that Ms. Heard is right and Mr. Depp is wrong, correct?
So as a forensic psychologist, my obligation is to the court, is to the fact finder. I present science regardless of what that science may be. Now, when I take a case, my retainer agreement is explicit about that.
You were, in fact, so excited about being involved in this case that you told your husband, even though this was a highly confidential matter, that you were going to be conducting the examination of Ms. Heard, didn't you?
That is not accurate.
You not only told your husband, but you told Ms. Heard that you told your husband, correct?
Ms. Bredehoff, that is not accurate.
What is accurate?
You're incorrect. That is not correct.
Is your testimony today under oath that you did not tell your husband that you were going to be conducting the examination of Amber?
That is my testimony.
Okay. So the question that was asked was because you brought muffins, you said, from your husband, right? You gave those to Ms. Heard, correct?
May I clarify what occurred so that we can stop talking about the muffins? What happened was that I was getting ready that morning. I frequently bring muffins to the office. My husband did happen to know that there was going to be a celebrity client coming in because on the mornings that occurs, which often occurs, we have to actually clear the office and move the staff to the other office. So yes, On the one hand, he was aware of that. I was getting ready. I asked him to go to the bakery near our house and pick up the muffins for me because I was running late. He often has to do that because I often do run late. He brought the muffins back to the house. I brought them into the office. Ms. Heard and I enjoyed the muffins together. I think I made a comment to her along the lines like, we can thank my husband. My husband got these for us today, meaning he purchased the muffins. We are now enjoying them because of him.
Did you say on pages 305 and 306 that you frequently have examinations of high-profile clients? You want to just take a quick look and tell us?
What, 305, 306?
Yeah, that's where we're talking about it.
Is there a line you'd like me to look at?
You can start with 15, line 15, 305. Just read through that and tell me whether you said anywhere in there that you have a lot of high-profile examinations. You do this frequently. I don't agree.
I want you to approach, please.
Why did your husband get the muffins for Amber Heard?
He did not get the muffins for Amber Heard.
He knew you had a high-profile client, and you were preparing for a very long time, and you asked him to pick up the muffins, correct?
I asked him to pick up the muffins for me, yes.
Okay.
Both sides are now in damage control mode after Amber Heard's grueling testimony at her and Johnny Depp's $50 million defamation trial. Welcome to Entertainment Tonight. Michelle Turner has the night off. Amber capped off her second day on the stand, telling the jury that Johnny made her fear for her life.
He got next to my ear and he was screaming over and over and over again, I hate you, I hate you. And then pounding the back of my head, pounding it with his fist. He just hit me over and over and over again, and I got really still. I thought, this is how I die. He's gonna kill me now.
Johnny's spokesperson calls the actress's testimony the performance of her life. Team Amber fired back, saying Depp's behavior is pitiful. He doesn't have the courage to look at her, and instead, he doodles and snickers. And there was this incredibly tense moment in court. Amber steps down from the stand yesterday as Johnny walks to the exit. You can see Amber's stunned look as he gets close. A bailiff keeps the actor back, and Amber is escorted from the courtroom. Fascination with the trial continues as rumors have quickly spread on social media that the actress had lifted a portion of her testimony where she talked about her relationship with Johnny from this scene in The Talented Mr. Ripley.
When you have his attention, you feel like you're the only person in the world.
When I was around Johnny, I felt like the most beautiful person in the whole world.
We fact-checked and found just two slightly similar moments.
It felt like a warm glow.
It's like the sun shines on you.
Johnny, who denies Amber's claim of domestic abuse, is claiming defamation and suing Heard for $50 million. She's filed a countersuit for $100 million. Amber also testified about appearing on The Late Late Show with James Corden one day after that alleged fight in 2015.
I had my hair and makeup team come, and they worked around the bruising by covering it. I told people I had an accident.
So, Lauren, here's the good news. Both Johnny and Amber will have a reprieve from all this drama.
Oh, and all of us, too.
Yes. Trial resumes on May 16th.
I'm obsessed with the truth.
Johnny Depp's defamation trial against ex-wife Amber Heard continues next week.
Slams me up against the side of the closet.
Following a week-long hiatus, ET is learning new details about what comes next. The trial is set to resume on Monday. And first up, Heard's testimony continues, which follows her shocking abuse allegations.
Grabbed me by the hair, swung me around.
After court adjourned last Thursday, Depp's team shared a statement with ET. The attorneys say Heard's upcoming cross-examination will be most telling and will highlight the many fallacies they claim she has attempted to pass off as fact. In response, a spokesperson for Heard slammed the actor, accusing him of attacking the victim and refusing to take responsibility for his own conduct. Then, new witnesses are set to take the stand, with Ellen Barkin appearing remotely in court. Depp and the actress dated in the 90s. She was previously called for Depp's libel trial in the UK, and according to reports at the time, Barkin testified he allegedly once threw a wine bottle across a hotel room. Another witness, Heard's sister, Whitney Enriquez.
I don't remember exactly when I met Whitney the first time.
She's been spoken about multiple times during the trial, and now Whitney will appear for the first time in person. Just last week, Heard testified she allegedly punched Depp in the face out of fear he was going to attack Whitney.
I just see my little sister with her back to the staircase, and Johnny swings at her, and I, for the first time, hit him. Like, actually hit him. Square in the face. He didn't push my sister down the stairs.
And there's more to come from Depp himself.
I pride myself on honesty.
Following his multi-day testimony, Heard's defense team is calling him back to the stand. The ongoing trial will be in session until Thursday and picking up again the following Monday.
See you then. Again.
The Johnny Depp trial may be on hiatus, but the rumor mill never rests. The latest headlines are asking this question: has Johnny fallen for one of his attorneys, Camille Vasquez?
The truth will come out in this trial.
And let it come out here. Social media has been having a field day with their courtroom interactions. Exhibit 1, client and lawyer holding hands as she whispers in his ear. Exhibit 2, a hug after Johnny enters the courtroom. Exhibit 3, and perhaps the most powerful, Johnny pulling out Camille's chair for her.
Maybe we should go ahead and take our morning break.
Here's the part I don't want to tell you. Sources close to this 38-year-old attorney tell TMZ that the relationship is purely professional. In fact, she's in a serious relationship with a British real estate agent. Now, Camille is, of course, the one who launched this opening zinger at Amber.
And she has been preparing to give the performance of her life in this trial.
And Court TV's Chanley Painter told me she is also expected to be the attorney who cross-examines Amber when the trial resumes next week.
Mr. Depp hasn't looked at you once this entire trial, has he?
Not that I've noticed, no.
You've looked at him, though, many times, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
You know exactly why Mr. Depp won't look back at you, don't you?
I do.
He promised you you would never see his eyes again. Isn't that true?
I don't recall if he said that.
One of the last times you ever saw Mr. Depp was when you met him in San Francisco in July of 2016, right?
That was the second to last time I saw him, yes.
And this was after you had publicly accused him of domestic violence.
I got my restraining order before that, yes. Mm-hmm.
And this is after you had obtained the domestic violence restraining order against him.
That's correct.
Let's please play Plaintiff's Exhibit 1229.
No. Oh, no, a hug will save it all. All this, everything we just been through.
I just wanted to touch you.
Really? After all the you just said?
I just wanted to give you a
hug.
Yes,
me up, you
yes,
want to touch me?
Please stop me. Please stop. Please, I just wanted to hug you and say bye. I didn't want to take it back.
We did that last night. It's fine. That was good enough. No, because I'm nothing to you. And I will always be nothing to you.
Calm. Calm.
What? You're not my shrink. No, you're in No, we'll never see each other again. You won't even don't take my glasses off. You know, like you look at it's not my eyes. You will not see my eyes again.
That's you and Mr. Depp in that recording.
That is.
And this is from when you and Mr. Depp met in San Francisco in July of 2016, right?
Yes, that's what it sounds like. That was in the hotel. We met once after that as well.
This is after you publicly accused him of domestic abuse.
Yes, and got my TRO.
Yeah. And he tells you you will not see my eyes again, doesn't he?
Yes, he does in that recording.
And he kept that promise, hasn't he?
As far as I know, he cannot look at me.
He won't look at you, right, Miss Heard?
He can't.
One of the first questions your counsel asked you on direct is, why are you here? Do you remember that?
I do.
Let's please play Plaintiff Exhibit 357A, which is already in evidence, Your Honor. And for the record, it's 2122 through 2140.
Right, and see what the jury and judge think. Tell the world, Johnny. Tell them, Johnny Depp. Johnny Depp, man, I'm a victim too of domestic violence, and
Yes.
it's a fair fight. And see how many people believe or side with you.
That's your voice on that recording, right?
Yes, it is.
And you were speaking with Mr. Depp?
Yes.
And you said to Mr. Depp, quote, you can please tell people that it was a fair fight and see what the jury and the judge think. Tell the world, Johnny. Tell them, Johnny Depp, Johnny Depp, a man, a victim too of domestic violence, end quote. That's what you said, right?
I was saying it to the man who beat me up, yes.
You testified that you were also raped with a liquor bottle in Australia, right, Ms. Heard?
Yes.
You testified you bled from your vagina as a result of that sexual assault.
Yes.
There aren't any medical records reflecting that you sought medical treatment for any of these injuries, are there?
I did not seek medical treatment after Australia, no.
Not for the rape?
No, I did not want to tell anyone.
Not for the cuts?
No.
Not for the injuries to your face?
I didn't need to. I was expressing frustration about his criticism of my career and how many problems that caused within the dynamic of our relationship, yes.
So you call him a sellout and a joke?
I called him horrible, ugly things, as you can hear. And
Sellout.
We spoke to each other in a really horrible way.
Pretty sure we just heard you speak to him in a really horrible way. You called him a sellout,
I just
right, Ms.
disagree.
Heard? You called him a sellout, right, Ms. Heard?
I called him a lot of ugly things.
And a joke.
I called him a lot of ugly things.
You called him a joke on that recording. You called him a washed-up piece of shit.
I think we both called each other that on that occasion, yes.
Mr. Depp mentions Aquaman, doesn't he?
Yes, he does.
Mr. Depp got you that role in Aquaman, didn't he?
Excuse me?
Mr. Depp got you that role in Aquaman, didn't he?
No, Miss Vasquez, I got myself that role by auditioning. That's
Mr.
how that
Depp
works.
says, quote, your jealousy is so tragic.
I heard him say that, yes.
You were the jealous one in this relationship, weren't you, Miss Heard?
I think he was indicating I was jealous of his career.
But now you've twisted it to say it was Mr. Depp that's the jealous one.
Johnny's always been very jealous when I worked, when I did anything, friends. Yes, he's always been very jealous.
So it was during these cycles of violence in 2012 that you gave Mr. Depp a knife as a gift.
I gave him a knife, I think for a birthday present early in our relationship. I believe it was around 2012, but I'm not certain.
We've seen a picture of that knife, but I think we should bring out the real thing. Master Deputy Halusa, Master Deputy Sheriff Halusa, may I please have you show the knife to Miss Heard?
Yes, that's it.
That's the knife you gave to the man who was hitting you, right, Miss Heard?
I wasn't worried he was going to stab me with it when I gave it to him, that's for certain.
But you gave it to him while he was abusing you, allegedly.
I gave it to him that year.
So you testified in this courtroom that after Mr. Depp smashed the phone, he held you down on the countertop by the neck. Do you remember that?
I'm not quite sure of the exact sequence of things, but yes, both of those things happened.
Well, we'll get to the sequence. And this is when Mr. Depp supposedly assaulted you with a bottle, right?
On the countertop, he assaulted me.
So Mr. Depp was able to get you on the counter, right?
He held me down by my neck.
And hold you down by your neck.
That is correct.
And he grabbed a bottle, according to you, while holding you down by the neck, correct?
I'm sorry, can you clarify what you're asking me?
While Mr. Depp is holding you by the neck against the countertop, he grabs a bottle. That's your testimony.
No, those two things didn't happen at the exact same time, no.
So he's holding the bottle, is that your testimony?
He
While
was
holding you down by the neck?
Sorry, what was your question?
Your testimony is, Ms. Heard, that either he has the bottle before or after he's holding you by the neck on the counter. Is that your testimony?
He held me by the neck on the counter.
Where's the bottle? that he assaults
At what
you with?
point?
While holding you down by your neck.
When he was assaulting me with the bottle, it was in his hand.
Was it in his hand before or after he holds you down by your neck?
I was being held down while he assaulted me with the bottle.
When he puts you on the counter, does he have the bottle in his hand, yes or no?
As I have always said, I don't remember exactly what happened first, or I don't remember the sequence. I just remember being aware that I was being assaulted by a bottle while I was on the countertop.
So he penetrates you with this bottle. But you don't know how he got the bottle, right?
That is correct.
Okay. And he did that right after he lost the tip of his right middle finger.
Again, I don't remember the exact sequence of those events.
Mr. Depp lost the tip of his finger after you threw a bottle at him. Isn't that right?
That is incorrect.
You're the one who assaulted someone with a bottle in Australia. Isn't that right, Ms. Heard?
I didn't assault Johnny in Australia. I didn't assault Johnny ever. I couldn't.
And then after he was injured, he had to hide from you, right?
That is incorrect.
5 bathrooms, 2 bedrooms.
That is incorrect.
And you would pursue him.
That is incorrect.
Because he was avoiding talking to you, right?
He did that first night when I tried to talk to him about the drugs.
And he was avoiding working it out.
No, he was avoiding agreeing to not fight about the drugs.
You weren't scared of him at all, were you?
I have a mixed relationship with Johnny, and one in which I'm scared, one in which I love him very much.
I'm not talking about your mixed relationship. That night in Australia, after you cut off his finger with a bottle, you weren't scared of him at all, were you?
This is a man who tried to kill me. Of course it's scary. He's also my husband.
You were here in this courtroom, right, Ms. Heard, when Malcolm Connolly testified to taking this picture?
That's correct.
This is the picture. This picture shows an injury to Mr. Depp's face, doesn't it?
I disagree. I've seen this picture.
Okay, Ms. Heard,
I've seen
I
this
got
picture
the answer. Thank
before,
you.
and
You disagree.
he's not injured in it.
He's not injured in this picture. That's your testimony. Fine.
This one is Photoshopped.
Ms. Heard, I have your answer. Thank you. This is the only photograph from your honeymoon that shows someone with an injury, correct?
That's not true.
We haven't seen any photos of injuries to your face from that train trip, have we?
I don't believe my face was injured on that trip.
Come a time when your friendship with Mr. Depp became more than that, became romantic in nature.
Yes. The friendship went from a purely platonic friendship to a romantic one.
At that point in 1994, when the relationship turned romantic, to your
Can you change that to sexual?
To sexual.
Thank you.
For how long did your relationship with Mr. Depp remain sexual?
Several months.
Either when you were at his house, where you didn't stay the night, or where you were at his house when you did stay the night, were there other people in the house who saw you there? Who were those people?
I don't know his name. He was referred to as Pig.
He was referred to by whom as Pig?
Johnny Depp.
At any point that you were either initially friends and then sexual with Mr. Depp, did you become aware that he drank to excess?
I was always aware.
Okay, and can you explain how you were aware of that?
He was drunk all the time, a lot of the time.
And that would apply both to when you were initially friends and then later when it became sexual?
Yeah.
In addition to alcohol, were you aware at that time that Mr. Depp was taking any prescription medication?
No.
Okay. Same question, Mr. Barkin, for illegal substances.
Yes.
Same question. And what illegal substances?
Hallucinogenics, cocaine, marijuana.
Did you ever observe, Ms. Barkin, Mr. Depp's behavior change when he drank more or used more drugs?
I did not.
So he was kind of the same all the time, fair to say?
It was not the same. He was high.
Ms. Barkin, when Mr. Depp acted in a way that was out of control with you?
Yes. Mr. Depp threw a wine bottle across the room, the hotel room on one instance in Las Vegas while we were shooting Fear and Loathing in Las Vegas.
Was something about to happen?
A fight was going on.
Between you and Mr. Depp?
No.
Who was the fight between?
Between Johnny Depp and his friends in the room, the assistant. Honestly, I don't remember.
During the time that you were in a sexual relationship with Mr. Depp, was it common for him to say things to you about being controlling, to use your words, or being jealous of you?
Yeah, very common.
And when, in these instances, when Mr. Depp became jealous or controlling, did he also become angry?
Yeah, and demanding.
Adam Waldman, Depp's lawyer, said afterwards, quote, Amber Heard and her friends in the media use fake sexual violence allegations as both a sword and shield, depending on their needs. They have selected some of her sexual violence hoax facts as a sword, inflicting them on the public and Mr. Depp. Do you see that?
Yes, I do.
Is that one of the statements that you allege are defamatory? It's defamatory?
That's correct.
Ms. Heard, you're not aware of any career opportunities that you lost as a result of Mr. Waldman's statements, are you?
Well, it's kind of hard to point to the jobs you're not offered,
Right.
to the gigs you don't get.
You were not replaced in Aquaman 2, were you?
They released me from my contract, and I fought to stay in it, and they kept me in it. I just don't know how much I'm in, actually, of the final cut.
And you testified yesterday that L'Oreal actually extended your contract in April of 2020. Is that correct?
In part, they extended it and held me.
And you testified yesterday that L'Oreal extended your contract again in November of 2021, correct?
Not exactly. They extended it because they couldn't use me or any of the materials for me.
And that extension was for 20 months, right?
That's correct.
This is from March 26, 2021, right?
That's what it looks like, yes.
And this is after he made the statements you claim are defamatory, right, Ms. Heard?
21, yes.
Ms. Heard, you tweeted at Adam Waldman, quote, yes, Mr. Waldman, I may be wearing makeup on this occasion, but on every occasion you will still be short. Did I read that right?
Yes.
We can put this down. Thank you. Ms. Heard, since your relationship with Mr. Depp ended, you have completed your level 3 sommelier training, haven't you?
I haven't completed it yet.
You're on level 2?
No, I'm on level 3.
You also have had a baby, right?
I have.
And you enjoy being a mother?
More than anything.
You still love to cook?
I do.
And you love to hike?
I've taken a break on hiking for a minute.
You have friends, right?
I do have friends.
And you spend time with those friends?
Occasionally, when I can.
And you exercise regularly?
Every day.
You just filmed a movie in March of 2022, isn't that right?
Yes, the one I just shot in Guatemala that I spoke of earlier.
And you have you had a major role in a major film that's scheduled to be released soon. Is that correct? Aquaman 2?
As I said, I don't know if I will even be in the final cut or how much I will be. It was difficult to stay in the movie.
Can we please pull up Plaintiff's Exhibit 356?
I can't promise you that I'll be perfect. I can't promise you I won't get physical again. God, I sometimes get so mad I lose it. I can promise you I'm gonna do everything to change. Promise you. I'm not gonna throw around divorce. I will not say divorce unless I win, unless it's it. And then I hope you leave me. I'm not going to, and me too. I will leave you. It's fair. I can't do it, you know? And I think, honestly, if we hold each other accountable to that, it's fair.
Ms. Heard, that's you and Mr. Depp on that recording, correct?
That's correct.
And you told Mr. Depp, quote, I can't promise you that I won't get physical, end quote. Correct?
That's correct. He was accusing me of instigating something in a situation I explained yesterday.
And you also told Mr. Depp that sometimes you get so mad you lose it, correct?
That's correct. I also explained the context of that fight yesterday.
Isn't that exactly what you told Ben King on your way back from Australia? That you get so mad you lose it?
Absolutely not. I know that that's what Ben King testified to, but I never had that conversation with Ben King.
I remember hitting you as a response to the door thing. That's exactly what I just told her. And I'm really sorry about hitting you with the door or hitting your head. I did not mean to, nor...
You don't need to hit me in the head with the door, but you meant to punch me in the jaw.
I meant to hit you, and I did not do this thing with the door. I do remember, I did mean to hit you.
So that you didn't mean?
The door? No, God, no, I
But punching me in the jaw.
okay, I'm sorry.
You're smiling as that audio recording is being played in your deposition, aren't you, Ms. Heard?
Not smiling because of the audio. I'm smiling because of what's happening around me.
You even roll your eyes at one point, don't you?
I was sitting opposite a whole table full of lawyers who were snickering, laughing, and rolling their eyes at me while I was talking.
Is there something amusing about kicking a door into your husband's head?
No, I was rolling my eyes and commenting on what I was experiencing at that time in recounting the story.
Is there something amusing to you about punching your husband in the jaw?
That is not what I was smiling about, and no, I do not think it's amusing.
If we could please play and display to the jury Plaintiff's Exhibit 1280.
Ms. Heard, did you send a text message to Jerry Judge on May 24, 2016, telling Jerry Judge, quote, "I'm desperately trying to reach Johnny. It's extremely important. Please tell him"?
I remember sending the text message that is in front of me right now to Jerry, and I remember sending this because I wanted to tell Johnny or have him told by Jerry or someone who knew him or was close to him. Basically, I didn't want him to find out online that I had or was about to file, or I had already filed for divorce. I wanted him to know verbally. So I was trying to reach him through a third party to tell him. When I say reach, I'm specifically saying I would like him to know information coming from me or coming from Jerry, from me, so that he finds out about the divorce filing or my intention to do so from some other source other than TMZ, which was alerted.
You slipped up there, didn't you, Ms. Heard? You let it slip out that TMZ had been alerted to your filing of the domestic violence restraining order, didn't you?
I disagree. That's not what I'm talking about.
TMZ is the same outlet that you released the video of Mr. Depp attacking the kitchen cabinets the day before this deposition was taken, wasn't it?
I didn't do that. I don't
TMZ
know how
owns
to do
the
that.
copyright to that video now, doesn't it?
I have no idea what TMZ
Did they
owns.
pay you for that?
I never got paid for it because I had nothing to do with that.
So TMZ was just lucky in getting the inside scoop to your divorce from Mr. Depp, huh?
I have no idea. That's not my area of expertise. I wouldn't even know how to do that. And also, what does that get me? If I wanted to leak things about Johnny, I could have done that in a much more successful way, in a bigger way, for years.
Not
and
when
years.
you were extorting him for $7 million.
I got a fraction of what I was entitled to in the state of California, by the way.
Right.
What extortion?
Tassa Van Ree's your ex-wife, right?
That's right. She's my ex-partner.
She's the one that you told this jury Mr. Depp was jealous of, right?
Yeah, well, that was 2013 fights around March, yes.
You testified that he tried to burn one of her paintings, right?
That's correct.
You testified he tried to burn one of your favorite paintings that she did, right?
I don't know if it was one of my favorites.
You committed domestic violence against Miss Van Ree during your relationship, didn't you?
No, I did not.
You assaulted her at a Seattle airport in 2009, didn't you?
No, I did not.
And people saw that.
That's not true.
And it was covered in the press. Isn't that true?
It was planted in the press by Johnny's team 2 days after I got the TRO.
Ms. Heard, you told this jury that you had no idea the press was going to be at the courthouse when you got your TRO on May 27th, 2016. Do you remember that testimony?
I said I did not have anything to do with it. Yes.
No. My question again. You told this jury that you had no idea that the press was going to be outside after you got the ex-parte TRO on May 27th, 2016. Do you remember that testimony?
I apologize. I must have misunderstood, Ms. Vasquez. I actually had no idea whether they were going to be there or not. When I walked into the courtroom that day, it was completely quiet, still, empty. Even though I had given Johnny's team notice that I was filing a TRO,
Your Honor, this is not
we had no reason to believe the press knew.
And Your Honor, I would also ask that you instruct the witness to please stop talking once I lodge an objection.
Your Honor, she's trying to answer the question as best she can, and Ms. Vasquez is misrepresenting to her what she testified to.
Well, I'll strike the last part as non-responsive. Just if you could just answer the questions asked. Okay, thank you, Ms. Heard.
The abuse is relentless.
Gold digger! Overwhelmingly, the fans that show up, that travel here from across the nation, really the entire world, are here for Johnny Depp. And overwhelmingly women. And it's unusual, to say the least, that we see so many women not really empathizing or relating to Amber Heard, but instead choosing to support Johnny Depp, the man in that relationship.
This is what TV personality Bethany Frankel posted today.
He was in a relationship with the craziest woman that's walked this planet.
On the internet, and the engagement on the internet on this trial is through the roof. It is almost all hating on Amber Heard.
A social media expert testified that the online vitriol is fierce.
I actually took a random sampling and looked at them and could not find any that were not negative towards Ms. Heard.
The love fest for Johnny Depp continues.
I just made breakfast for all of them this morning.
The courtroom is packed with fans who waited in long lines to get a seat. Last night, he gave them a friendly wave.
They're here for Johnny Depp. Rarely do I see a supporter of Amber Heard.
Love you, Johnny.
It is the world's most watched He Said, She Said, day 21 of the Johnny Depp Amber Heard trial. Welcome to Entertainment Tonight. Michelle Turner is off. Closing arguments are expected Friday, so in this final week of testimony, Amber's team is pulling out all the stops to cast doubt on Depp.
Based on your analysis, what has caused Mr. Depp's career downturn?
We talked about the erratic behavior, the tardiness, the drugs and alcohol abuse.
Jealousy, rapid mood changes, poor self-control.
Amber's experts hammered away at the actor all day. Johnny was supposed to be called to testify by the defense today, but in a surprise pivot, her team suddenly called off that plan. The reason? A source close to Amber Heard tells ET calling Depp back to the stand would be as relevant to us as a bicycle to a fish. Everything Depp has testified up to this point has been irrelevant to the heart of this case, and there's no reason to believe it would be any different now. Also testifying for Amber, orthopedic surgeon Dr. Richard Moore, who did not treat Depp. He questioned the actor's claim that his finger was severed when Amber threw a vodka bottle at him.
It made contact and shattered everywhere, and it looked like Vesuvius.
This wound doesn't really appear to be a sharp glass laceration.
Dr. Moore testified it appeared to be more of a crush injury. He was cross-examined by Depp's attorney, trial breakout star Camille Vasquez.
I think it's important that they understand that.
This is the time for me to ask you questions. Do you see that broken vodka bottle in the back corner near the bottom of the bar?
Yes.
Do you see the blood drops on the floor?
Yes.
You can't definitively say what caused the injury to Mr. Depp's fingers. Yes or no?
No.
And there's a new celebrity twist.
This is Kate. Nice to meet you.
ET has confirmed that Johnny's ex, Kate Moss, will take the stand for Depp's team on Wednesday. She will testify live via video link. Legal expert Jesse Weber says Amber opened the door for her testimony.
Because when Amber Heard was on the stand, she made a reference to Kate Moss and the stairs.
I just, in my head, instantly think of Kate Moss and the stairs.
The allegation being that Johnny Depp threw Kate Moss down the stairs when the two were in a relationship. So if Johnny Depp calls her as a rebuttal witness and says, that's not the truth, Johnny Depp was great to me, he never physically assaulted me in any way, that's not going to be great for Amber Heard.
Mr. Depp, do you recall Ms. Heard testifying that you did not assist her in getting her role in Aquaman?
Yes, I do, yes.
And what is your response to that?
It's not exactly true. After Ms. Heard's audition, or possibly auditions, for Warner Brothers and I suppose the creative team, Ms. Heard had expressed to me that the film was going to be, Warner Brothers had said that the film was going to be shooting in Australia. And Australia was for Ms. Heard, that was a potential problem because it was of concern to Warner Brothers. So she asked if I would, because I'd had a multi, for a few years I'd had a multi-film deal with Warner Brothers, and so we'd been in business together. So I knew these people. I'd been on films with them. So she asked me if I would speak to them. I made a phone call and I spoke to.
Objection, hearsay, Your Honor.
I don't believe he said anything. I think he was going to say who he spoke to.
All right, we'll see. Overruled at this point.
I spoke to the three upper echelon Warner executives, Kevin Tsujihara, Sue Kroll, and Greg Silverstein. And I told them that...
Objection, Your Honor. Hearsay.
All right, I'll sustain the objection. Next question.
What was the result of you speaking with those individuals?
I can only say that ultimately she did get the job in the film.
Mr. Depp, do you recall Ms. Heard testifying that she punched you in the staircase incident because she thought of Kate Moss in the stairs?
Do I remember her saying that?
Yes.
Yes, I do. 3 times. Yes, I do.
Do you have any understanding as to what Ms. Heard was referring to?
Yes, I do.
And
as Kate Moss, Kate testified, it was many, many years ago. And exactly what happened is what she said happened. I recall speaking with Ms. Heard about that very incident because of the downpouring of rain, because it was raining very heavily that day that Kate slipped. And I recalled the story to her. I'll make it easy for Mr. Rottenborn. Ms. Heard took the story and turned it into a very ugly incident, all in her mind. There was never a moment where I pushed Kate down any set of stairs, yet she's spewed this 3 times before.
Objection, Your Honor. Ms. Heard simply testified that she had heard a rumor, and that's
What's a rumor?
non-responsive to the question.
Sir, hold on.
Sorry.
Objection. I'll overrule the objection.
Misstates the facts and evidence.
I'll overrule the objection.
Sorry, I was drawn by Mr. Rottenborn's voice.
Certainly.
What would you like? What was it?
So what specifically had you actually told Ms. Heard about the incident with Miss Moss and the stairs?
Very simply that we were in Jamaica. I had left our bungalow about 3 minutes prior to her. I was standing outside and suddenly rain starts just coming down like it's, monsoon, and then I remember looking and seeing Kate coming out the door, and there were 3 little wooden stairs, and she slipped, her legs went up, and she landed directly on her coccyx and her lower back. So, and she was obviously physically in pain, and she was hurt, she was crying, so I ran over and grabbed her to make sure she was all right. But I have never in my life committed sexual battery, physical abuse, all these outlandish, outrageous stories of me committing these things and living with it for 6 years and waiting to be able to bring the truth out. So this is not easy for any of us. I know that. But no matter what happens, I did get here, and I did tell the truth, and I have spoken up for what I've been carrying on my back reluctantly for 6 years.
How have you suffered publicly as a result of the Depp-Waldman statements?
People want to kill me, and they tell me so every day. People want to put my baby in the microwave. It's been agonizing, painful, and the most humiliating thing I've ever had to go through. I hope no one ever has to go through something like this. I just want Johnny to leave me alone. I just want him to leave me alone. I've said that for years now.
Ms. Heard, you just testified that this case has been very hard for you. So let's talk about that and why.
All right.
Your lies have been exposed to the world multiple times, right?
I haven't lied about anything I've been here to say.
You told this jury under oath that you punched Mr. Depp because you thought of Mr. Depp pushing Kate Moss down the stairs. You didn't expect Ms. Moss to agree to testify, that never happened, did you?
Incorrect. I know how many people will come out of the woodwork to be in support of Johnny.
So you think Ms. Moss needs to come out of the woodwork to testify for Mr. Depp?
Everybody who was around in the 90s and the early aughts knew that rumor. I had heard that rumor from multiple people. Of course, that's what flashed through my head when my violent husband not only swung for me, but all of a sudden swung for my sister. Of course I thought of that. I did not expect her to show up or not expect her to show up. It didn't matter. It doesn't change what I believed at the time when we were on the stairs and I thought he was going to kill my sister by pushing her down the stairs.
You told this jury under oath that Mr. Depp was aggressive and trashed a trailer in Hicksville. You didn't expect the manager of the Hicksville property, Morgan Knight, to come forward and testify that was untrue, did you?
Incorrect. I've already been through trials with this man. I know how many people will come out in support of him.
When you told this jury under oath that you had no idea that the paparazzi would be at the courthouse on May 27th, 2016, you didn't expect a TMZ employee to show up to testify that TMZ had been alerted that you would be at the courthouse and knew exactly which side of your face to take a picture of, did you?
I know how many people will come out and say whatever for him. That's his power. That's why I wrote the op-ed. I was speaking to that phenomenon. How many people will come out in support of him and will fall to his power? He is a very powerful man, and people love currying favor with powerful men.
Currying
and I know
favor
that
and
firsthand. I've
risking
lived
jail
it.
time for committing perjury?
Excuse me? I didn't hear your question.
You didn't
Excuse
hear my
me?
question?
Ms. Vasquez, if you do mind,
Curry-
please just repeat the question. I didn't hear you.
Curry favor and commit perjury in this courtroom?
I have
For
seen
a
people
powerful
do this.
man?
I have seen people do this time and time again. That's why I wrote the op-ed.
Lied, and she lied again, and she kept lying. She lied 6 years ago on May 27, 2016, when she walked into court in Los Angeles to publicly accuse Mr. Depp of abuse for the first time. She lied again when she told the world over and over again that she donated all of the $7 million divorce settlement to charity. You heard the evidence about what she donated, and you watched her. You watched her try to save her lie about that broken promise with more lies on this stand in this courtroom. She lied again when she told the world in her op-ed on December 18, 2018, that she was a public figure representing domestic abuse, painting herself as a representative of abuse survivors everywhere, and painting Mr. Depp as a representative of perpetrators. She's come too far. She can't back down. She's lied too many times to too many people. So when Mr. Depp finally decided to fight, to clear his name by filing this lawsuit, Ms. Heard responded by making up more and more stories of more and more extreme abuse. She came up with a new accusation that Mr. Depp had raped her with a bottle in Australia. And she keeps making new claims up even now.
It's this simple. If you believe that Depp was abusive to Amber one time ever, in any of the various forms of abuse, not only physical, verbal, emotional, psychological, sexual, any of the ways of abuse, then your job is very easy. And you can not only deny Mr. Depp's claim, but you can fine for Amber on her counterclaim. And it's interesting that Ms. Vasquez just changed their theory after 6 weeks. She said, oh, well, domestic abuse just means physical abuse. It's not what Mr. Depp said. It's not what Dr. Curry said. It's not what Dr. Hughes said. It's not what you know to be true. You know that the evidence that you've seen constitutes all sorts of abuse. And there's a reason that they're running as fast as they can from those sorts of abuse, because they know that he did it.
It's about showing Mr. Depp's children, Lily Rose and Jack, that the truth is worth fighting for. It is. And it's about restoring Mr. Depp's name and standing in the community to the fullest extent that you can. And you can do something. And only you, ladies and gentlemen, can do that for him. You heard from Mr. Depp yesterday that he has been carrying these outlandish, outrageous stories on his back, pretty stoically, and living them with them for 6 years, and waiting to be able to bring his truth out. And he has told you the truth, the unvarnished truth, even truth that pretty embarrassing. He knew that was going to happen when he brought this case. You've seen the evidence in this case over 6 long weeks, which we again thank you for. That evidence shows overwhelmingly that Ms. Heard's attempt to paint herself as a heroic survivor, an innocent survivor, and Mr. Depp as a terrifying abuser are utterly false. We ask you to please return your verdict for Mr. Depp. We ask you, we implore you to give him his name, his reputation, and his career back. Thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's go ahead and take a break at this time. Again, this case has not been submitted to you yet. We will continue with closing arguments when we come back, so do not discuss the case with yourselves. Don't do any outside research.
After 7 long and at times dramatic weeks in court, it all came down to today's closing argument in the Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard trial. Welcome, everybody, to Entertainment Tonight.
Drugs, alcohol, abuse, self-harm, just some of the wild allegations and testimony we've heard. And now it's up to the jury to decipher it all.
Mr. Depp knows that he can turn into a monster.
She came into this courtroom prepared to give the performance of her life, and she gave it.
In Mr. Depp's world, you don't leave Mr. Depp. And if you do, he will start a campaign of global humiliation against you.
We ask you to give Mr. Depp his life back by telling the world that Mr. Depp is not the abuser Ms. Heard said he is.
I think both sides did a phenomenal job. The one thing that I think Heard's team excelled in was the ability to make a more general commentary on what domestic abuse is.
We ask, ladies and gentlemen, that you hold Mr. Depp accountable for his actions.
Thank you so much.
Amber seemed upbeat walking in today, and Johnny, he waved to fans outside and commented about the growing crowd of spectators.
There's been a multiplication out there.
And as if the trial wasn't already surreal enough, phones started buzzing in court warning of severe weather.
There appears to be an Amber Alert, but I think we're okay.
Both teams guided jurors through the evidence, photos, videos, magazine covers, and audio recordings.
I did not hurt you. I did not punch you. I was hitting you. You are such a baby.
There is an abuser in this courtroom, but it is not Mr. Depp. And there is a victim of domestic abuse in this courtroom, but it is not Ms. Heard.
The case went to the jury at 2:57 p.m. Eastern Time. Legal analyst Julie Rendelman says there's a lot of information for jurors to sift through.
The judge has given them a laptop, which contains most of the evidence that they're going to be considering. And you have to realize that the jury has to come to a unanimous decision. That is a difficult task. And so it may take quite a lot of time for them to come together.
Can I also mention that people have traveled from as far as Europe to be at that trial every day. It's wild.
Jury deliberations continue in the Johnny Depp-Amber Heard defamation case, each suing the other former spouse with claims of denials of domestic abuse. ABC's Morgan Norwood has the latest.
The jury in the Amber Heard Johnny Depp defamation case returning to the deliberation room for a second day, combing through 6 weeks of testimony from both sides claiming to be victims of abuse.
Johnny has taken enough of my voice. I have the right to tell my story. I have the right to say what happened to me. I have the right to my voice and my name.
It's insane to hear heinous accusations of violence.
I am harassed, humiliated, threatened every single day.
The trial reeling in an audience of millions around the world and dozens who have shown up to this Virginia courthouse day after day. Now a jury deliberating which side to believe with millions of dollars at stake. And a source close to the trial telling ABC News that jurors must answer 7 questions when determining whether Johnny Depp and his legal team have proven elements of defamation. That decision, though, must be unanimous. Morgan Norwood, ABC News, Los Angeles.
All right, Mr. Foreperson, is this the verdict of the jury? Yes. All right, is it unanimous? Yes. Thank you, sir. Jamie?
In civil case number CL 2019-2911, Mr. Depp's claim against Ms. Heard. 1. As to the statement appearing in the online op-ed entitled, "Amber Heard, I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our culture's wrath. That has to change." In the Washington Post online edition, quote, "I spoke up against sexual violence and faced our culture's wrath. That has to change," end quote. Do you find that Mr. Depp has proven all the elements of defamation? Answer, yes. Has Mr. Depp proven by a greater weight of the evidence that, question, the statement was made or published by Ms. Heard? Answer, yes. Question, the statement was about Mr. Depp? Answer, yes. Question, the statement was false? Answer, yes. Question, the statement has a defamatory implication about Mr. Depp? Answer, yes. Question, the defamatory implication was designed and intended by Ms. Heard? Answer, yes. Question, due to circumstances surrounding the publication of the statement, it conveyed a defamatory implication to someone who saw it other than Mr. Depp? Answer, yes. Against Amber Heard, we, the jury, award compensatory damages in the amount of $10 million. As against Amber Heard, we, the jury, award punitive damages in the amount of $5 million.
Does either side wish to have the jury polled?
Yes, Your Honor.
All right. Jamie?
Members of the jury, if this is your verdict, please answer yes. If this is not your verdict, please answer no. Juror number 6. Yes. Juror number 10. Yes. Juror number 15. Yes. Juror number 16. Yes. Juror number 22. Yes. Juror number 27. Yes. Juror number 29.
Yes. I do find that the jury's verdict is unanimous. Ladies and gentlemen, this concludes your service in this case. I want to thank you again for your dedication and your hard work during this trial, and I know I speak for everybody here when I tell you that we appreciate your sacrifices and your time and your public service in this matter, okay? So I'm going to have you go back to the jury deliberation room for one more time, and then we'll release you from there, okay? All right, thank you.
All right.
Hi, everyone. Today's verdict confirms what we have said from the beginning, that the claims against Johnny Depp are defamatory and unsupported by any evidence. We are grateful, so grateful to the jury for their careful deliberation, to the judge and the court staff who have devoted an enormous amount of time and resources towards this case.
Our judicial system is predicated on each person's right to have his or her case heard, and we were honored, truly honored, to assist Mr. Depp in ensuring that his case was fairly considered throughout the trial. We are also most pleased that the trial has resonated for so many people in the public who value truth and justice. Now that the jury has reached its conclusive verdict, it's time to turn the page and look to the future. Thank you all so much, and thanks to the jury.
Thank you so much.
Have you spoken to Johnny? How is he feeling? How's Johnny feeling? Well, Johnny and Amber.
Can Amber Heard pay up? We caught up with her attorney, Elaine Bredehoff, in New York.
How is Amber doing today?
She's heartbroken. You know, one of the things that she did, when she came back in the conference room, the first thing she said is, I am so sorry for every woman out there that has gone through any of this.
Appearing on the Today Show, the lawyer said outright that Amber just doesn't have the money to pay the judgment.
Is she able to pay a $10.4 million judgment?
Oh, no, absolutely not.
Attorney Brian Claypool says Depp's team did a better job.
Lawyers matter in cases like this. Depp's legal team outmaneuvered Heard's legal team. It was brilliant of Johnny Depp to have Camille Vasquez, a woman, cross-examine Amber Heard. I could have never gotten away with that because I would have been perceived by the jury as a bully.
Court TV's Chanley Painter was in court for the whole trial.
Even though Johnny Depp was not here in person, his attorneys were greeted like rock stars outside the courthouse, unlike anything we've ever really seen. It was like they rolled out a red carpet, cheering.
Johnny Depp remained in England today, where he's celebrating the verdict, stopping by a local pub. But after the long 6-week trial, the battle between the warring exes may not be over.
Is she going to appeal?
Yes, absolutely.
Mobbed by fans screaming his name, Johnny got the biggest rock star reception he's seen in years. He signed autograph after performing with Jeff Beck, as he has several times over the past week. Jeff broke this news. He and Johnny will release a new album next month. They've already collaborated on singles like this one, Isolation. From Northern England to London's famed Royal Albert Hall, to the courthouse chant right as the verdict was revealed. Even the judge admitted
The courtroom in this particular case appears to be the world.
So what's next? Today, one former Disney executive tells People magazine there's just too much potential box office treasure not to bring Johnny back as Captain Jack Sparrow.
It is not the destination so much as the journey.
Producer Jerry Bruckheimer revealed this at the London premiere of Top Gun Maverick.
We're working on some scripts, so hopefully they'll come together, you never know.
Amber testified just days before the verdict.
As I stand here today, can't have a career.
Her Aquaman sequel with Jason Momoa will be released next year.
Once he is named Ocean Master, it'll be too late.
She posted this picture from her independent movie In the Fire in March. The New York Post says Amber is broke and is relying on her homeowner's insurance policy to cover the millions in attorney's fees. Now she's planning to appeal the $10.3 million judgment against her, meaning we haven't heard the last from either side.
A Virginia jury's decision to side with Johnny Depp in his defamation lawsuit is drawing both condemnation and praise. The verdict came after 6 weeks of very dramatic testimony from both sides. She claimed that he abused her, while he said she was the abuser. In his reaction, Depp wrote, "The goal of bringing the case was to reveal the truth, and that truth never perishes." Elaine Charlson-Bredehoff is the attorney for Amber Heard and is with us now. And we should mention, we did also reach out to Johnny Depp's team, but they declined to be interviewed this morning. Elaine, thank you. We're so very glad you're here.
Thank you.
We heard Amber's reaction to the verdict yesterday. This seems to be a huge victory for Johnny Depp this morning.
Yeah, a major setback for women, for women inside the courtroom and outside the courtroom.
Because?
Because basically what this said, you know, Amber had an enormous amount of evidence, although a lot of it was suppressed in this case as opposed to the UK. But look at all the women who have no evidence, all these women who suffer from domestic violence, domestic abuse. They don't have evidence. And basically what this jury said is unless you pull out your cell phone and you tape record your spouse beating you, you're out of luck.
But Elaine, I think it was bigger than that, because you had the evidence, as you say, but they did not believe her. Why do you think they did not believe her?
I think that a lot of that was that it was Johnny Depp. I think the celebrity status.
But she's a celebrity too.
And it's not only not believing her.
But she's a celebrity too.
Right.
But you have to remember, it's a tale of two trials. All the evidence came in the UK. Mr. Depp brought that one. The burden of proof was on the son in the UK because they had called him a wife beater and talked about the domestic violence. He had his opportunity to tell the truth then. And a 3-week trial, he lost. The judge found 12 acts of domestic violence, including sexual violence. And that came out November 2, 2020. We weren't allowed to tell the jury that.
Well, it's a different system, and the judge, it wasn't a jury, it was a judge. The judge said it was substantially true, and that is significant, and I think surprised a lot of legal analysts. But, you know, in this case, the jury not only didn't believe Amber Heard, but in ruling that she acted with actual malice, that means she had the intent to cause harm, right? That's a pretty high standard to have proven.
And it's pretty amazing since the op-ed never even mentioned Mr. Depp. You have to remember that. What they learned from the UK case is to demonize Amber, which is what they did, and to try to suppress as much of the evidence that came in the UK and did not come in the United States. But the other problem is we had cameras in the courtroom. So here we had, not only did we have a group of Depp fans that were there every day, 100 were allowed in. They lined up at 1 o'clock in the morning for their wristbands to be in that courtroom. But we had everything on camera, and we had tremendous social media that was very, very, very much against Amber.
It was pointed out that that was the first time that a victim of sexual abuse had to testify on live television.
And I fought hard and lost that battle. So it should not have happened.
So I am a former NFL player, and after a hard loss, it's easy to wake up and point to the other side. Oftentimes, I realized the better thing to do was to look in the mirror. What mistakes did I make as a player? What mistakes did our coaching staff make? And then how can we improve from there? Do you feel like you guys made any mistakes along the way? Do you feel like Amber made a mistake while she was on the stand? Because you're saying it's the celebrity, it's Johnny, it's the people who support him. But what about you and your team?
Well, and that's an excellent question. And to say, and you know, Amber even said on the stand, I am not perfect. I am a human being. These people were giving her death threats. They threatened to microwave her baby. This is the kind of social media she was getting. So are any of us perfect? No. Is there something else we feel we should have done? Yes, absolutely. I redo my closings 100 times afterwards, whether I win or lose. That's part of being a good lawyer, a good trial lawyer, is there's always something. But I think that there were a lot of influences here that were beyond our control. And I think the social media, it was like a Roman Colosseum. Is the best way to describe the atmosphere here. And I have to believe that the jury, even though they're told not to go and look at anything, they have weekends, they have families, they have social
they were not
media.
Sequestered. They were not sequestered.
And the 10-day period we had, how could they not have been influenced?
But Elaine, for most people watching this trial, and a lot of people, as you know, got huge views, it just seemed to be so messy and salacious and so tawdry on both sides. On both sides. And I think for a lot of people from the outside looking in thought both of them were not telling the truth and that they mutually abused each other. Do you not believe that that was the case?
No, and that's one of the many misnomers. The way that Depp's team approached this was based on ignorance of domestic violence. It completely ignored the cycle of violence and just said, oh, she wouldn't have done this if he had been hitting her. That was their approach.
So you thought that they weren't fighting fair?
Correct. I don't think they were fighting fair.
And you think Amber Heard is, in fact, a survivor of domestic violence?
Yes, I absolutely believe that. And there's a tremendous amount of evidence, much of which did not come into this trial, did come into the UK trial. We even had more evidence. We had medical records. We had mental health records that went back to 2012 that were contemporaneous. We had text messages from Mr. Depp's assistant saying, when I told him that he had kicked you, he cried.
So how is she today, Elaine? How is she today? What is her next move?
She's well, her next move is appeal. There were a number.
She's heartbroken.
She is heartbroken. And one of the first things that she said when she came back from the verdict, when we went into the conference room, was, I am so sorry to all these women.
She said that?
Yes. She felt like she had let down all of these women because she had more evidence than most people do, and yet they still didn't believe her.
Elaine Charleston, Bredehoff, thank you so much for joining us. We appreciate you. We'll be right back.
A tale of two exes. Johnny Depp showing no signs of shying away from the spotlight, but where is Amber Heard? Welcome, everybody, to Entertainment Tonight.
Nearly a week after Johnny's defamation victory, we are learning new details about what went on inside the courthouse as Depp takes his career renaissance to the streets of TikTok. Arriving at court, working on music, and on stage with guitarist Jeff Beck, Johnny's first TikTok featured personal behind-the-scenes footage and a message to fans. Quote, "We have walked the same road together. We did the right thing together, all because you cared, and now we will all move forward together." Johnny's ex, Amber, quickly fired back at the celebratory post, claiming the verdict sends a bad message to victims of domestic violence, writing, "As Johnny Depp says he's moving forward, women's rights are moving backward." Johnny was spotted out today in northern England before hitting the stage. On Sunday, he posed with fans and reportedly racked up a staggering $62,000 bill at an Indian restaurant celebrating his trial victory.
Ms. Heard, there is no question pending, and I would appreciate it if you wouldn't be making argument to the jury.
Meanwhile, Johnny's courtroom attorney, trial standout Camille Vasquez, just got a big promotion. Her firm announced today she's been elevated to partner. As for Johnny's ex,
This is humiliating for any human being to go through.
a source tells ET Amber is not in a good place. Quote, she feels very alone and like she lost a lot of friends. She is sad that people she hoped would support her didn't. Amber's plan right now is to focus on being a mom, spend quality time with her daughter, and stay out of the limelight.
Is she able to pay a $10.4 million judgment?
Oh, no, absolutely not.
We're told Amber's going through a rough financial time right now, but during the course of the trial, she apparently was living large, staying at this mansion that rented for $22,000 a month. Speaking of pricey real estate, one of the 5 penthouses Amber and Johnny lived in during their 15-month marriage is on the market. The historic condo in downtown LA is listed at $1.765 million. The loft space is 1,780 square feet. Johnny talked about the condo on the stand, testifying he let Amber's sister Whitney stay there.
She needed a place, so we gave her penthouse 4 to live in.
And listen to this new trial bombshell.
There were futurists that were dozing off.
Court stenographer Judy Bellinger, seen here with Johnny, told Law and Crime Network some of the jurors actually fell asleep.
Were the jurors who were dozing off, were they in the back row, front row, both?
Both. And it was tough because there was a lot of video deposition. And, you know, they would just sit there and all of a sudden I'd see their head.
I'm here with Johnny Depp's lawyers, Camille Vasquez and Ben Chu, sitting down for their first interview since the blockbuster verdict that Depp was defamed by ex-wife Amber Heard. Welcome to you both. Camille, let me begin with you. I think the verdict surprised a lot of legal experts. They thought it was a very uphill fight from the beginning for you all. What was the key to victory?
I think the key to victory was focusing on the facts and the evidence, and Johnny's opportunity to speak the truth for the first time. It was 6 years in the making. And I think he was able to connect with the jury and the general public and tell what really happened in this relationship.
He wasn't in the courtroom for the verdict. What was his reaction when you told him?
He was over the moon. It was like the weight of the world had been taken off his shoulders, and I feel that finally, after 6 years, he's gotten his life back.
He also went on TikTok yesterday thanking his supporters on social media. What role did social media play in this verdict?
My view is that social media played no role whatsoever. This was a decision made by the jury on the evidence presented by both sides, and as Camille said, it was overwhelmingly in Mr. Depp's favor.
Ms. Heard's lawyers put out a statement yesterday saying the verdict was a setback for women's rights, and they went on to say that it's unseemly and unprofessional for you all to be, quote, taking a victory lap for setting back decades of how women can be treated in the courtroom. How do you respond to that?
I think it's disappointing. We're only speaking about what happened in this case, right? And the facts in this case were overwhelmingly positive for Johnny, and the verdict speaks for itself.
How about the broader criticism, though? It's not just from Heard's teams. Victims advocates have argued that the verdict is going to have a chilling effect on domestic violence victims, and it's a blow to the Me Too movement.
I think our response to that is we encourage any victim to come forward. Domestic violence doesn't have a gender.
So you don't see this as a setback to the movement in any way, shape, or form?
We do not. We believe that the verdict speaks for itself. The facts are what they were. The jury made a unanimous decision based on those facts.
During your cross-examination, what was your impression of Ms. Heard's impression on the jury?
I think that her impression on the jury was what it was. I think something that I focused on and we focused on in that cross-examination was using her words against her. And it was very important for us to, every question that was asked was tied to something she had said previously. And I think the jury got to see and the world got to see and hear from Ms. Heard in that relationship on every single topic.
And George, I think there was a real contrast. Johnny took ownership of a lot of things, and it seemed at times, and perhaps it came through to the jury that she had an answer for everything and she wasn't taking accountability for anything. And I think that made a difference.
Heard's lawyers say she plans to appeal the verdict. She doesn't have the money to pay for the judgment. And you all have said that the goal is not to impoverish Ms. Heard. Is it possible where we could see a settlement where she foregoes the appeal in return for Mr. Depp waiving any monetary damages?
Well, George, we obviously can't disclose attorney-client communications, but as Mr. Depp testified and as we both made clear in our respective closings, this was never about money for Mr. Depp. So this was about restoring his reputation, and he's done that.
So you're not disclosing any privileges, but it sounds like that's something that could be on the table, but it's up to Ms. Heard?
Again, we have to be careful what we say, but this was about Mr. Depp's reputation. That was what it was about for him.
Your life has changed a lot in the last several weeks. You got made partner this week. Congratulations.
Thank you very
Both
much.
of you have also become something of social media stars. How has it changed? What does it feel like?
It's been surreal, and if I'm being honest, a bit overwhelming. But if I can be an inspiration to young women that want to go to law school and study and work hard, then it was all worth it.
Thank you both very much.
Thank you very much, George.